Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, students. Today I'm going to talk about narrative writing. As you know that narrative writing is actually a story in first person. So before we move on to the narrative writing's detail and we see that how actually it is planned and it's written, I would request you to please subscribe my channel and please help me by giving your good comments. When we talk about narrative writing, the first and the foremost thing is actually to see that what the prompt is asking. Prompt is actually the question which we have to see that what is actually asked in the question. Another most important thing in writing a story is to making a plan for the story. Today I am going to show you that how stories are planned and what are the things kept in mind while we are planning it. And the last thing is to write the story according to that plan. Okay, now I have taken a sample prompt for you, a question statement for you, and I'll be just looking at it with you that how it will be dealt and what idea I'm going to have. So here I'm going to look at the question statement, write about a time when you had to think fast to solve a problem. Okay, so we have to think of some story on it. There can be any story on it. It can be a story when you are in a situation where you have to win some game, some competition is there, but what idea comes to my mind that I'll be writing a story in a school setting where I will be showing that me along with my sister are assigned to give the task of making the lunch for the school. So for making a plan, the rough thing which I have in my mind is the beginning. Beginning is also called orientation of the story, and it actually introduces the main characters, the setting, and the problem part in the story. The next thing is the middle part. When we talk about middle, so in middle, roughly speaking about that, we show two attempts which went unsuccessful, and we will be definitely looking at it that how we are going to write it. And this is a thing where our last attempt will become successful, and the problem, whatever problem is there, that is solved. So let's see. This is how I'm going to divide the story plan. That this upper part shows the beginning of the story, this part shows the middle of the story, and this part shows the end of the story. Now, so in order to make the plan according to this prompt, my starting of the story will be dealing with the CSP. CSP stands for character. For the character, I'll be having my characters definitely me as the main character, my sister, and the cafeteria manager. Then for the setting part, I have chosen the school cafeteria as a setting, and for the problem part, that we want to make spaghetti for the school lunch, but we don't have ingredients. So this is going to be my first paragraph where I'll be introducing all these three things in the story. Now, my second part will be the middle part of the story. In the middle part, I'm going to show two attempts which remain failed. The first attempt, then when we find that we don't have ingredient to make spaghetti, and another thing is that we found that we have bread and tomato sauce. The other unsuccessful attempt was when we thought of making peanut butter and jam, but we realized that this is not allowed in the school. Now, my last part where my problem got solved, how that we decided that with the ingredients given to us, we can come up with making some pizza. So this is my rough plan. Let's see that how I'm going to implement it. This will really give you an idea that how you can make a plan of the story and write a story on it. Now, when we talk about writing or writing the beginning of the story, the first line of the story, this is really challenging. We think that how to start the story. I'm going to give you four ideas to start the story with. The story can begin with an action. Look at this. I burst into the class and went to my desk. This was the day I was making lunch for my school. This is the first line of the story which is showing an action. Another idea can be starting the story with a dialogue. Look at this well punctuated dialogue which is going to begin the story. Have a wonderful day at Leekwood Elementary. Our principal sang, comma, as he signed off in the morning announcement. Another idea to write the story's first line is to introduce a setting. Everyone stopped talking as soon as I entered into the class. Another idea can be that we can start the story by some sound, crash. The door to the classroom crashed open as I burst into the classroom. I couldn't believe finally it was my day to make lunch for the school. So I hope that out of these four, any one idea will suit you, or you can try hand on all of these one by one for writing your story's first line. So now let's write the beginning. For the beginning, I have decided that I'll be focusing on CSP. C stands for characters. I'll be introducing my characters in this beginning part. Then S stands for setting. I'll show that where my story is set, and P shows for the problem part. Now, this is my first part of the story, which I call beginning. Now, as I told you that I'm going to start my story with this dialogue, and a wonderful lunch I added, reminding my classmate that today my sister and I would be fixing their lunch because we had won the chef of the day's contest. I've told the reason that why are we going to make it. So I'm done with the character part, and I'm done with the setting part. But when we moved into the cafeteria to make our famous own family spaghetti, the cafeteria manager stopped us. The truck that usually delivers our supplies didn't arrive today, she explained. What? I moaned. My determined sister placed her hand on her forehead, stuck out her chin, and insisted, it's our day to make lunch and we are going to do it. How can we fix lunch without ingredients? So I'm sure that the problem part is also clear. So this is how in the beginning part you can keep these uh, CSP idea in your mind, and you can introduce your characters, your setting, and your problem part. Now, I'm going to move to the second part of the story where I'll be thinking about the solution of my problem. So, here I've decided that I'll be putting two attempts where I remain fail. I've highlighted the first attempt I'm going to write where we tried to find the ingredient but we couldn't. Let's see how we did it. Okay, when we want to write such paragraph where we are going to talk about the problem solution, then a TIFIT can be a best way to write. Now, stands for transition, that you translate to some other idea. I stands for idea, how you are going to solve the problem. E is showing your events action, what action was taken place. F stands for failure, why your plan didn't work, and E your emotions, and T again transition, that after the failure of this, how did you move on. Let's see how I have written this middle part. This is my first attempt which went fail. So I have kept this tiffet in my mind. Don't worry, Lucy. Our spaghetti is a simple recipe. We can be creative. Okay. Finding the things we need won't be hard, she said confidently. So while Lisby searched for tomato sauce, she sent me to the pantry to find spaghetti and Italian. So here we have come with a transition that we have decided that we are going to find something else, some change in the spaghetti idea is there. Now I ran to the pantry, shoved the sliding door and scanned the walls of the cans and brown boxes in front of me. I couldn't find the spaghetti, but I grabbed all the plain white bread I could carry and rushed back to the kitchen. This is the event section that you ran, you searched the things and you found whatever you had. How many boxes of spaghetti did you find? Lisby asked. None. This is the failure part of this first attempt. Well, there is not enough tomato sauce for spaghetti anyway, she moaned. So this is the emotion, and we need a new menu. Help me think of something. Now another transition. So did you notice that how I worked on my first plan and how I made it fail? Okay. So let's move on. Now, so far we've done this much of the story. that don't worry Lucy, our spaghetti is simple recipe. We can be creative finding the thing. This is my second paragraph. Well, there is always good old. Now, we are going to go for our second idea, which is again going to fail, that we are trying to make peanut butter and jam. School doesn't allow it. Let's see that how I have implemented. Again, I'm going to use Tifet because I've decided the transition, the idea, the even section, the failure thing, and emotions, and then the transition. Well, there is always good old peanut butter and jam I offered. Peanut butter and jelly isn't a special meal. Libby coughed. It's the best we've got for now. At least we have the bread. I smiled, pointing to my large pile of the loaves. Okay, new plan. So we have seen transition, we have seen another idea. Okay, she announced, go back the cafeteria ladies for all the peanut butter they've got. I'll rummage through the wall in refrigerator and hunt for bread jelly. Meet me in the kitchen in 5 minutes. Now this is even section which is now in front of you. Yes, I replied, bolting out the door. Unfortunately, there was just one little we didn't think about peanut allergies. Schools are not allowed to serve peanut butter when the cafeteria lady reminded me. So cafeteria lady remind that peanut butters are not allowed because they can cause allergies to some children. I fizzled like a day-old balloon. What now? I wondered sadly as I ran to tell the bad news. So this is another transition. I'm sure that you have seen that how my next attempt remain failed. So now we are on the last part. We use the present ingredient along with cheese to find personal pizza. Everyone loves it. Let's see how we do with this. Okay. Now we are writing the middle attempt to transition. Now I am going to use test here, and it stands for transition. Then idea, how are we going to solve the problem? E for even section, another E for emotions, and S for the solution. This is the last part. Let's see how we are going to write the ending. Don't look see so glum, sis. Libby grinned. I overheard the conversation and have already thought of a new and better idea. We are going to make everybody's favorite pizza. So this is a transition of this part. We have bread, we have tomato sauce, and we have grated mozzarella cheese. So this is the idea. It's going to be discussed here. I could feel my frown flip into a giant grin. You are the best lips. So this is the emotion part shown here. I know. Just watch the master chef at work. She ringed, grabbing a slice for bread, slapping it down and flattening it with a rolling pin. Then she loaded up the small, flat, square white tomato sauce, topped it with grated cheese, and popped it in the oven. I caught on quickly, and soon we were turning out hundreds. Bon appetite, we showed. So I'm sure that you have seen that how emotions and these parts are moving on. Bon appetite we showed to our classmates as they filed through the lunch line. Please enjoy our famous own family personal pizza. This is transition. So here we end our story. When we look at the story on the whole, this looks like this. This is the first part. This is our first part. That is the beginning part where we talked about CSP. This is the second part, the second step, which remained unsuccessful, where we tried to make spaghetti but we couldn't find the ingredient. And this is a third part of my story where we made second attempt that also remained failed because we tried to make peanut butter but it was not allowed. Then this is the last part where we are going to make the pizza. I'm sure that you have understood that how stories actually are done. Another very important thing you must have noticed that my choice of the language, my preposition, my punctuation, they all were really perfect. I really took care of bringing a lot of preposition in my story so that I can create a good effect in my story. And we have seen that I've loaded my story with emotions and with all the things which I planned in my story, they are there. So I'm sure that in this way you can write your own stories and come up as a good story writer. Thank you very much. Be blessed. Have a good time.